All right, today we're going to be talking about Chapter 12, Lesson 8. This is all about surface area of prisms. Now, when we start talking about surface area, there's a couple different things we want to talk about. One of them is going to be the lateral area. And the lateral area is the area of the sides, basically. And we're going to add that to the area of bases. And there are always two of these. Now, when we start talking about this, we want to say that this is 2B. Now, when we start talking about the lateral area, again, so if we have a prism, the base would be either this part here, as well as the top part. Now, this, and the opposite two sides are part of the lateral area. Now, in order to find this, one thing that we could do is separate this into a net, but that takes a long time. The other thing that we can do is realize that if every single one of these dimensions is the height, then what we can simply do is, well, it would be this side times the height, and this side times the height, and this side times the height, and this side times the height. So we'd really have four numbers all multiplied by h added together. Or we can realize that the four numbers that we're adding together over here, that's the perimeter. So P is the perimeter of the base. H is the height. And B is the area of the base. Now, this part here is going to be a little bit tricky because sometimes they're going to be squares or rectangles, other times they could be triangles, other times they could be other shapes like a pentagon or a hexagon or a decagon or some other shape like that. But let's do some practice here. So example 1, it says find the lateral and surface area of each prism. So first thing we want to do is the lateral area, and that happens to be the perimeter times the height. So the perimeter of this base, again, this here is the base, would be 21 and 4, and then another 21 and another 4. So perimeter in this case is 21 and 4 and 21 and 4, which happens to be 50 centimeters. The height is 34 centimeters. So if I go ahead and multiply these two numbers together, I have 50 centimeters and 34 centimeters. And if I multiply those two numbers together, I get 1,700 square centimeters. The reason why it's square centimeters again is because we're looking at an area. Now, surface area, again, is going to be the lateral area, which is perimeter times height, plus 2 times the area of the base. We already just figured out what the lateral area is, this 1,700 square centimeters. So now the base is going to be, well, this is a rectangle, so 4 times 21. So the area of the base is going to be 84 centimeters squared. Start substituting values in. I get 1,700 centimeters squared plus 2 times 84 centimeters squared. 2 times 84 is 168. So the surface area then would be 1,868 centimeters squared. Now, the other prism that we're going to be talking about is a triangular prism. So this prism is going to be a little bit different to deal with, but only because the base is a triangle. But otherwise, same exact process. We're going to be talking about the perimeter and the height. So the perimeter of the base is this 12, 16, and 20. Which happens to be 48 centimeters. The height then is 3 centimeters. So I have 48 centimeters times 3 centimeters, and 48 times 3 is 144 square centimeters. Again, same thing here. We're going to do surface area is perimeter times the height times 2 times the area of the base. Perimeter and height again was 144. Now, the base, this is a triangle. So we want to do the two numbers that are attached to the right angle, which happens to be this 12 and this 16, because that's really right here. So 12 times 16, and because this is a triangle, we're going to divide that by 2. So if we go ahead and simplify this, the area of the base is going to be 96 centimeters squared. So we're going to substitute that right there. If I multiply this by 2, because there are 2 of them, I get 192. And then add that to the 144 of the lateral area. We then get a surface area of 336 square centimeters. All right, well, now that we know how to actually find the surface area, we can now apply that information. So when we want to apply the surface area, we can use the surface area to determine how much it'll cost to either cover the prism or to make the prism. So let's look at example 2 here. It says Alex is building a large box out of plywood. The box is a rectangular prism measuring 5 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 2 feet high. Find the number of sheets of plywood he would need to buy if one sheet will cover 32 square feet. So first thing we have to do is find the surface area. So if I have a rectangular prism, crudely drawn, but that's okay, 5 feet long, so that'd be 5 feet, 3 feet wide, so that'd be 3 feet, and 2 feet high, so this would be 2 feet. Again, those dimensions don't necessarily matter because it's a rectangular prism. So, lateral area then. If this is the area of the base, lateral area would be the perimeter of the base, so 3 and 5 and 3 and 5, which would be 16 times the height. So the lateral area would be 32 square feet. The surface area would then be this 32 square feet plus 2 times the base, so 2 times 3 times 5, which is 30. So we now have 62 square feet. Last question, it says, how much would he need to buy if one sheet covers 32 square feet? Well, 62 square feet, and if we divide that by 32 square feet, we get just under 2. In fact, the number is 1.94 roughly. So Alex will need to buy 2 sheets of plywood. All right, that is going to be the end of Lesson 8. If you have any questions, please let me know.